Welcome to this session number 16 on Introduction to Statistics. In this session, we will be focusing on the third step of statistics, that is called analyze the data. Till so far, we covered the first step, that is collection of data, where we learned there are two ways we can collect the data, that is a primary and the second one is a secondary data collection, right? So this is the direct collection and this is indirect way of collecting the data. So when after collecting the data, we have data in our hand, then the next thing is to write the data, put the data in a meaningful way. So that is organize the data. This is the second step, organize the data. So there we learn there are different ways we can represent the data. We can visualize the data, right? So in the form of graphs, charts, right? So then now next is when you represented the data in the meaningful way, even though it give so the next thing is to focus on the analysis, right? So this is our focus from this session number 16 onwards. So there are different ways we can analyze the data through different measure like statistical measures. First one is we will be focusing on the measures of central tendency. So in that we will be focusing on here the mean. This is also one of the measures of central tendency. Clear? So this is about me and this is my LinkedIn ID, so you can connect me on LinkedIn. So here, as I said, we are moving to the third step of statistics, that is analyze the data. So when you have data, why we need to analyze the data? What is the requirement? Because as I said in the second, second step, organize the data. We already put the data in the form of graphs, in the form of charts, right? To put it to get the meaningful information about the data. Do you think that is it sufficient to make the complete decisions about the data, right? No, it is just gives the only the general idea, the general observe. We can only make the general observations, or it gives only the general idea about the data, right? So therefore, if you want to make the complete sense of that particular data we collected, and if we want to make the informed decisions about the data, right? And let's say suppose I have 100 data points, right? Instead of representing these 100 data points, I just wanted to give a one data point which can represent the total 100 data points, right? So that we cannot find from the graphical representation, right? Or the charts representation. So therefore, for that purpose we need to analyze the data to represent, to find the representative number of that particular data, right? And the last one is we want to know how the data points, one data point to another data points, or among the data points, how those data points, how those observations are scattered, how those observations are dispersed, right? How much far one, how much distance is there from one data point to another data point. So for these reasons, so we need to analyze the data, right? So there are majorly two types of statistical measures we use to analyze the data. So the first one is measures of central tendency and the second one is measures of dispersion or the measures of variability. Clear? So we will be focusing on measures of central tendency first, then we'll move to the measures of variability. So as the name itself suggests, it is a central value, right? Tendency, right? It is just gives the information about the center, the middle part, or the group of observations, right? So when you, as I said, when you have 100 data points, right? So these numbers are put it like this. So it just gives the central value. What is the middle number? What is the middle part which is relating, which is connecting all the data points? and it do not focus on the span of the data set or the data observations. It just gives only the middle number which can represent all the data points, right? It does not focus on the how the data points are scattered, right? So and also it cannot find how much far other values are from the that particular representative value. Clear? It's just a representative value for the given data, as simple as that. So here it just gives the rough idea about how all the data points are centered, where they are centered. Clear? So there are different types of measures of central tendencies are there. The mean, the median, the mode, percentiles and quartiles. So we'll be focusing on one by one. Okay, so in this session number 16, we'll be focusing on the first measures of central tendency, that is the mean. Okay, so the it is also called as arithmetic mean, is nothing but an average of group of observations or group of numbers. How we will find the average? As simple as that, we take the sum of all the observations and then divide with the total number of observations. Clear? So we generally use in statistics more frequently this mean or the arithmetic mean. So therefore most statisticians refer in a simple way, it is also called as the mean instead of arithmetic mean. But in general arithmetic mean and the mean both are same only. Clear? So here as I said in the in like one of my session where I said that statistics is having two types of data. So one is a population data and the second one is a sample data, right? So the things we find, let's say here the measure of central tendency, right? So those measures of central tendencies we find for the population are called parameter, and the corresponding to sample are called as statistic, right? And these parameters are denoted with the capital big letters, right? The capital letters of Greek. So we use generally Greek letters only, but these are all of capital. And similarly here also we use the Greek letters only, but in the small letters. Clear? So therefore here the population mean, the sample mean, right? So we find, see, the measures of central tendencies for both population and sample are same only. The only thing is that it is the way of representation, the letters we use. So for example here we use this letter mu to represent the population mean. Population mean. And then similarly we use the letter x bar. This is the x, then bar, x bar to denote the sample mean. Okay. So as I said, there are two types of data: grouped data, ungrouped data. So right, grouped data can be put in the form of class intervals. So therefore, we have two types of class interval: discrete and continuous class intervals. We will be focusing on this later. Okay. So here our main focus will be on the ungrouped data. Let us first find the measures of central tendencies for this ungrouped data. So here, as I said, unless if they are mentioning that it is a population data or the sample data, we use the correspondingly. If it is a population data, so then we use population mean, or if they given, if we mention that it is a sample data, so then we use a sample mean, right? Whether it is a population or the sample, finding mean is the same. How we can find the mean? Suppose here n observations are there, you just take the sum of all these observations and just divide with the total number of observations. Similarly for the mean, sample mean also. Here we use one letter frequently in statistics, that is called a sigma. Suppose let's say I have 10 observations, x1, x2, x3, and so on x10. So this is it denotes the sum of 10 observations. If I want to write it in the shorter notation, what I do, I just use this symbol sigma, then write the observation x, then I put one index I, and this I is running from observation 1 to I have 10 observations. So this is a shorthand notation, right? So therefore this sigma denotes the summation, sum. Okay. And here as I said, this capital N is the population, and small n is representing the sample. Okay. Now let us take one example before that. So these are all the two simple steps we follow to find the mean of the data. In the first step, we just take the sum of all the observations or all the numbers or all the data points, whether it is a population or the sample. Then we divide the that sum by the total number of observations or the total number of data points. Okay, so that will give you the mean for the population or the sample. So here I have a data set. So top 13 shopping centers in UK by retail size in 1000 square meters. So these are all the shopping centers, and this is the size. Now I want to find the mean of this data set. So we know that this is the ungrouped data, right? So when you have ungrouped data, what we do, the first step, we take the sum. So if you take the sum of all these data points, 190 plus 180.9 plus 175 plus 155.7, 154.0 plus 149.5. So if you take the sum, so you would be getting this sum. This is the sum of the all the observations. And then we know, right, there are how many observations? 13, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we have total is 13 observations. And the second step, we just divide this sum 1948.9 divided by the total number of observations, that will give you 149.9. So therefore this is the mean. So here I am assuming that it is a population, so therefore I am using this letter mu to denote the population. So therefore the population mean is 149.9. Clear? So yeah, so that is all for this session. Okay, so we will be focusing on the next measures of central tendency in the next session. Okay, thank you.